so cautious on this map yesterday. They were holding up towards the top of the hill just outside boot camp, and normally they would go down to boot camp, wreak havoc, maybe give some people down there a bit of a trouble down here, and then they'd probably have to ring the authorities. But this time RRQ, instead, they have held very, very safe, and more worried about people third partying on this map coming up behind them. So it's a bit of a different RRQ that we're used to, because we know RRQ to be this heavily aggressive team, and honestly, other than that play with G9 absolutely demolishing TSM Entity earlier on today, we haven't seen that same characteristic come out from them.
See if they're able to display that on this game. Of course, the circle does shift down pretty heavily southwest here. More often than not, it's a little bit further north than this, so we might get a Ruins finish finally.
Maybe. And this is actually probably the teams are quite happy about this one, because usually we have the trifecta, as we keep calling it. You know, most of the times I do like a little bit of a triangle with my hands towards the camera, but I know you guys can't see me, so you'll just have to feel that triangle in spirit. However, this is being quite south-sided. It's a spirit triangle.
Power of the polygon.
Yeah, exactly. Spiritual triangle. Get on board, John. Come on.
What would be each point?
I'll get back to you.
Okay, that's understandable. That was a very tricky question.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I've got to really think about spirituality and how I feel about life, and then condense that into 3 points, John. It's not easy.
PUBG Mobile.
PUBG Mobile 1.
1.
Fashion.
Fashion. Anime. That is you in a nutshell, isn't it, really?
Done that,
that is you in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually, that's really quite exciting. Good job, though. Good job. But yeah, as I was saying, it's quite a south circle, right? So this would allow, I think, most teams to be pretty comfortable in the fact that this is probably going to end up on the South Island, more than likely. And if not the South Island, off to the east. I think that it's going to be kind of a ridiculous shift if we do see a Northwest Island, so we can kind of rule that out for the time being until it does happen, which might happen because we're playing PUBG Mobile World League and stranger things have happened.
So what you're saying is we can't rule it out?
Yeah, this is like when I said things that happen once don't happen again. Yes, we can
rule it out except for when we can't, which is now. Okay, look. I feel like we've had a lot of fun. We've been a bit sidetracked, but we do need to get a little bit serious here, Blank. Because of course
I tried, and you said I was a weeb and PUBG Mobile.
Well, that's true. Okay, like there's space for the truth. There's always space for the truth. And one other thing that is true, Blank, is that there is a tie for the top spot. And I know Karis wanted to talk about it on the desk, but it's RRQ Athena and Bigatron Red Aliens both sat on 311. Of course, the tiebreaker being the kill points means that it is RRQ as a clear top there. Yeah. 144 kills to 129 on Bigatron Red Aliens.
Yeah, now, look, I'm gonna actually, what was the opposite when you throw someone underneath a bus? You like put them on the bus.
Save them from a train?
No, I put you on the bus.
Okay.
Okay, so I put you on the bus, I pay for your ticket right here. Because I'm gonna say that you actually noticed this way before anyone else did. You were pointing out to me just as that game concluded, you were like, look, there's a tie in here. The chasers are neck and neck with the leaders right now. So it's an interesting one, and I think if RRQ kind of want to put up the same point, so it is interesting to see them all the way over towards Lakawi, just underneath Box Gaming. Usually we see them just outside of boot camp trying to play as aggressive as possible. So this is a different RRQ that we're used to, playing kind of a style that's imitating more of that of BTR.
And they're moving a little bit further south as they leave Lakawi. Pretty sharpish, actually, especially considering that the plane started in the north side.
Now, another interesting thing is that BTR themselves are no longer playing that 2-2 split towards Hatin and the Eastern Island. Now, that's interesting because of 2 points. BTR is thinking that they can't be as confident anymore. They have to group up, play together. Orange Rock coming against Team IND, so we'll park that for the time being.
Scout gets spotted out in the water, but he's already on foot. Slayer trying to go for the spray, but he gets knocked. 1-for-1 on the trade. Orange Rock making a bold push across the river here. Gil trying to swim in, trying to get an angle on this. 2 players from Orange Rock go down as they get Marvi up and out of the water. But unfortunately, Kratos is ready and waiting, and everybody else sends out wide. It's just Gil for Orange Rock, and he can't get it done. Goodness me. IND spot out the crossing, and Orange Rock get demolished.
That was horrendous. That couldn't have gone any worse for Orange Rock there. And you know what? Team IND seemed to be ready for that push, if anything.
I think they spotted it out somehow.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we go back to yesterday, I believe, Orange Rock made a similar rotation very early on. So Team IND, they've been doing their homework, it would seem.
I mean, you level up, did their homework against Team IND.
Exactly. Thank you very much
And
for
as
the perfect segue.
Imperium said, what goes around comes around.
Exactly. What comes around goes around. That's how it is.
And it goes around again.
And it goes around and around and around.
And then it comes around.
I didn't know this. Thank you for the segue before you ruined it. But like you said, you've given me no time.
Jonathan's dead, which is unfortunate for TSM Entity. Star player, their star power, will be eliminated. We'll see what the remainder of his squad can get done on the southeast side of Ruins. They get spotted out by Synergy.
Can I have a chat now? Is that possible? Thank you. What I was going to say is that you level up, obviously, gatekeeping Team IND on Erangel, not allowing them that free reign to go over the Western Bridge, indicates to me a lot more, especially with GXR Celts also challenging T1 in Mill to Power, is that teams are no longer giving the other players free reign anymore, which is perhaps why RRQ is no longer in the middle of the map, perhaps why BTR are now grouped up as a 4, is they're realizing that people are starting to push the edges of their own bubbles. GXR obviously moving out towards Mill to Power, and like I said before, you level up towards that gas station camp on the Western Bridge. So it's really interesting to see now in the second week that teams are starting to enclose a little bit more now. Have you hurt yourself?
I'm all right.
What have you done?
I scratched up my belt buckle. It's fine. We'll be all right. I don't know if you level up are going to be all right, though, because GXR Celts are pushing onto their compound. Harshan, he went down early in Miramar. Looks to be an outpost for them again this time around. And the nade send out wide onto MJ, but he's going to get spotted. Tries to go for it with a micro Uzi, but he runs out of bullets. MJ has plenty more in the back pocket, 6 more before he has to reload, but the kill is found. And again, it's you level up down to 3. Early knock.
Yeah, let's remember that this is the same GXR Celts we saw from Miramar, who had really pushed through a lot of dangerous areas to get to where they'd been. And it was some fantastic gun skill being displayed by them throughout the entire game to make sure they made their way through. Box Gaming now having trouble with the truck after it performed miracles for them on Miramar.
It's, you know, when Guardian Leviosa, unfortunately, doesn't always work. You know, you've got to get the swish and the flick just right.
It is true. It is true.
And you've got to make the gar nice and long.
Did you go to Harry Potter school or something?
I know the book. I know a lot about the books.
It's like Scouts, but Harry Wizards. Sorry.
Harry Wizards. Harry Wizards.
Oh, I thought production just muted me.
They should do, quite frankly.
I was like, wait,
after that one, Harry Wizards. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew you weren't up to snuff with it. With the when you were talking about the house colours.
Harry Wizards Club.
I didn't realise you were this out of the loop. Goodness me. Where have you been for the last 15 years? I guess a lot of the younger viewers probably wouldn't have experienced it. I do recommend Harry Potter, personally, as a John Allen recommendation.
It's okay, but there is always anime.
There's always anime.
God. Right, this is kind of an interesting approach here because we do have Team IND over on the other side of the coast, Valdez the Murder down here, and T1 taking an aggressive approach coming out of boot camp, taking the ridge side. So they have a lot of vision down towards these two teams, but there's potential for Team Secret, who are actually just coming out of Pemenang to come up behind T1. So if T1 are not careful, they're not watching all their angles, because this is the position that RRQ takes, and also they claimed the exact same thing where a team came up behind them. It just so happens to be Team Secret in this place. So T1, major thing I'm looking out for is making sure they're watching all their angles, making them watching all northwest, east, and south.
Valdez the Murder a little bit spread out, but got their backs to the water here, just southwest of boot camp. They'll have to try and, well, they'll have to see where the next circle goes, and that's really going to dictate how they go about playing these next few phases of play. Bigatron in the north side will have to push down as the circle centers to the southwestern island.
Look, I told you, you could rule it out earlier. It's not going to the northwest island. I was right all along. So we're down to the south. The Oracle himself predicts correctly.
That was a good prediction.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Synergy, quite central. We are going to
5 points for that prediction.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Let's keep track of those, please. Valdez the Murder, I think they take a quick knock there. Team IND actually counting their lucky stars here. They don't actually have to cross onto the eastern side. They can continue to play this coastal side. And now the pressure is on T1 as well as Valdez the Murder. Because if you're T1, you're thinking yourself, how do I get across this river at the moment? Purely because Synergy is weighing on the other side of the bridge. Team Secret is ready to push through Pemenang and also holding any players coming down to Pemenang. And it looks like Pemenang is the option that T1 are going to take. So you're coming against one of the most fearsome teams as of recent in this fight. You've only got 2 players doing it as well, Youngjun and Missile.
We did catch as well the rotation coming through from Reject Scarlet, the wide swing kings themselves. And it seems like they're going to be repeating that this time around. Unfortunately for them, across the river, it's RRQ, and they are going to opt to go for the bridge crossing, which might afford them a little bit of safety on this push. But being on the south side, relatively smart. The plane started in north. They know that there's going to be fewer teams down there.
And this is a change of pace for RRQ as well. They don't usually end up in Bantai, so you imagine that Reject Scarlet's going to pass through here very leisurely, very calmly. And you know what? RRQ have got some insane shots on them, so you expect them to be able to completely remove Reject Scarlet if they get a little bit too close to their own compound. You level up towards the center here, but TSM Entity, once again, that confidence seems to be beaming through from this team. They're so central.
I mean, they are down a player after losing Jonathan early, but you're right, they do have a strong central spot. RRQ, oh, okay, they've spotted out the rotation from Reject Scarlet, just like you talked about. Blank, maybe a little bit too leisurely.
Can I have another 5 points, please?
That is another 5 points on the predictions there, Blank. Fantastic performance from you.
I'm doing really well. Oh, can I get, oh, never mind. That's not what I wanted. I said about pun. Right now, but it was actually synergy. But I did mention that. Can I get 2 points, please?
No. G9 able to get another knock, and it's just Duello now standing. Oh no, Sarah is up for Reject Scarlet as well. They're going to be trying to fend off the encroaching players. Nice nade, but not really going to do too much damage there. Duello cooks up another, but G9's got one of his own. Looks to spot it out. Webb does finally tick away. Another nade being sent in through the window. Duello trapped in this single building. Oh dear, he's been spotted out. He's got a nade in his hand, and he will drop to the ground.
Now, it's pretty much over now for Reject Scarlet. I think there is just one player, Reject Scarlet, Sarah, who's made his way north. He said, look, you know, this fight is absolutely not going my way at all. I'm just going to leave. So he will become a solo player. Snakes, not at all unseen on Sanhok itself. This is a really good place for him to go. There's a lot of grass to hide upon, and you can easily get towards a top 8 finish if you play your cards right.
Especially on this side of the island as well, Blank, because there's not too many teams that are rotating through that position. You can play the edge, you can try and sneak in through those hills, through those defilades.
Box Gaming, though, they're going to come close up to Reject Scarlet Sarah as they cross the bridge. They were on the east side towards Quarry. Team Secret still idling around Pine now, not doing too much as of yet, but you imagine they might have to move when this next circle comes through. I'm going to say it's going to go further towards the south. Oh, genius gamer. Moves on top of TSM Entity.
I'm going to subtract 3 points for that.
Sorry. I just feel like I can maybe emulate Ocean Sharma and be like the circle prediction god, but unfortunately, I'll never go to those heights.
Goodness me. Well, you're down to 7.
Stop. I need
you
those
said keep
points.
track. You said keep track. I'm keeping track.
Freestyle, on the other hand, let's take a quick look at them to the south of Tambang, John. Now, they're a team that had a really good game there on Miramar. Fantastic control, and like Froz was saying on the desk, it's like they didn't play it like Reject Scarlet would have played it. They were very, very much impassive. They were taking a lot of those fights, trying to get as much damage done as possible, thrashing from the ridge side onto these teams. And it worked out very, very much in their favor, and they were able to get that second place finish with a lot of kills on board. Let's see if they can have a similar approach here again, as they are afforded a decent place within the circle.
Valdus the Murder actually went across to the northern island, to the northwestern island, and then went around and looped in behind Bigatron. Now they're starting to take this fight. Remember, they lost Goddard earlier on, so it is 4 versus 3. The barrage is going to start out the battle. It's sent back in kind by Bigatron, 1 or 2 sent over the top, and everybody being spotted out. One of the nades will tag Armjoan and Velmuth as well, so they have some information as to where they are. Zuxi takes a bit of damage as well, but I don't think Bigatron really want to take this fight.
This is such a typical Bigatron fight as well. It's like, we don't need to see you, we have grenades. That's just how it works. Now, BTR are going to start to move away, but they do have that off angle in Micro Boy. A really nice little flank here, and he could get the side swipe onto Valdus the Murder if they're not careful.
If they push up, if they try and follow them over the bridge, Microboy can strike. And what's good is that he can swim across. Once Bigatron have a position on the opposite side, they can protect that rotation. Valdus now out in the blue, and they'll have to push in. They're being tagged away.
Microboy's got to really play this very carefully. He'll have to be quick-witted to make sure he gets all 3 players down. Have a look on the other side of the map here. That's Box Gaming taking a knock, I believe, from Team Secret or U-Level. We didn't quite catch that in the kill feed there, but GXSL still feeling strong, and Synergy. Kind of like the slingshot dragons, where they just swoop their way down into the center of the map, find a decent position. But today, although they've been getting really strong position within the zones, and I love the rotations that come out of these guys, they're very sharp. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's that defensive power that they seem to be lacking. Microboy still behind, biding his time. This is the patience you want to see from your flanking player.
Is he looking at the player up top? I don't know if he's spotted Velmuth. Maybe he's just looking for other players. Okay, yeah, he's seen it. That's Velmuth down. There's no way you survive that, unfortunately. And he'll be able to get those shots in. Microboy gets the kill, but now he has to be worried about the remaining 2 players from Valdus, the murder, as they will try and make that crossing too.
Armjohn just creeping his way through the grass. And now he might have seen the traces from that gun, but it's going to be very difficult to exactly pinpoint the position of Microboy. And just like you said, John, 5 points to you.
Yes.
Microboy will be swimming across after the position on the other side of the zone was secured. Next circle comes through, pubs down to the southwest. GXR Celts can be very happy. And again, Freestyle are a really good spot to start popping off this game. This is what the desk wanted to see. They wanted to see them just keep getting those points on board. We know they have the strength in them to do it. They've had some really good games.
It's both them and you level up that we're really keeping an eye on, Blank, towards the bottom of those tables. Obviously, they've only played 13 games into the Super Weekend, so they are at a massive disadvantage compared to the majority of the lobby. But really, the bit that I'm interested in is the comparison between you do gank, you level up, Freestyle, and No Chance Team. At the moment, No Chance Team clear at the bottom, 76 points on 15 games, but you do gank 161. That's the next ladder up spot. If you can get up there, you will be in the top 16, well, not firmly, but relatively securely, as a Udu Gank will have to challenge you out. And hopefully they can have a better week next week, but it all is up for grabs.
And again, you're putting yourself in a position where in the week play, you get back into that Super Weekend and you actually have a strong starting point, a strong foundation to remain within that shooting place to get into that league finals at the end of this tournament. Now, a lot of teams making their way into the middle of this match. See Team IND coming from the northern side, throwing out the smokes, trying to get a train through, but TSM Entity, they have to actually penetrate through here. And TSM Entity, they're like a steel wall. It's going to be difficult to do that.
They're fearsome, certainly, but slightly diminished. And they'll see what more they can do. Bigatron still clashing with Valdus the Murder, by the way, on the northern side. And actually, I think that might be Valdus going... Oh, no, not quite out just yet, but Team IND, they're taking a fight, and they will finish off Valdus the Murder on that push. Nothing to be found there. Team Secret taking an engagement as well at range as the nades start to fly. TSM holding the edge.
I did enjoy that from Kratos. He just sees a random player suddenly fly forward. He's like, okay, I guess that's a kill for us, thank you. Box Gaming, though, taking a fight with You Level Up. You Level Up coming out not so rosy after either. Pime has an off angle behind them, but now we're looking at TSM Entity just ripping apart Team IND here. Trans now trying to throw in the grenades, but TSM, like you said, although diminished, they are still very strong, John.
They have the compound, and that's really affording them a lot of strength. You're right, Blank. Team IND are finding out all about it. Trance now left behind a rock. Last player alive for IND. Has got a couple of meds on board, so he'll be okay for the time being, but his teammates not so lucky. Kratos gets finished out, and that's Synergy actually coming in from the eastern side.
Yeah, Synergy took a knock from Team Secret, but now they're taking the fight with a completely different team, and TSM God, they actually spotted out one of those players. Next circle comes through, goes directly central. GXR Celts still control a really strong compound. Rox is out of the way, though, to the south, so you might think he wants to regroup his team towards this northeastern compound, or, in fact, what would be even better would be for the rest of the team to regroup him. But look at this Synergy now pushing down towards Team Secret, getting a slight bit of revenge here.
Nades downhill, very, very dangerous. Team Secret down to 1, just U-high left. See if he swings out wide, wants to try and isolate him, and will be able to get the job done. Synergy take down Team Secret, but now they're into another fight at range with GXR Celts, who are putting down suppressive fire. The smokes will come out, and they should be able to get this res.
Yeah, this is going to be hugely difficult to pull off because they're going to have to use the smokes now to secure the resurrection, and really what they need is the smokes later to actually get into the circle itself. So Synergy, they've just got to make sure they can buy their time and really hope that someone crashes into GXR Celts earlier on. Team IND Trans trying to take out some players from Team Cementity. Oh, almost has it, but Team Cementity fly away but get absolutely rattled down. It's just Z got alive on a sliver of HP here, John.
Speaking of slivers of HP, Blank, Bigatron up on the hillside, they're going to have to move down pretty sharpish as well. Zed got in direct competition. He gets spotted out. There's TSM Entity eliminated. Now the northern side occupied by Bigatron Red Aliens. The solo player from IND will be pushing in behind. Synergy have to move in. This north side is crunching, but the south side, the exit from Nakam, is going to be so hectic.
Again, it's that blue zone doing so much work here, pushing everyone closer together. And you know all these teams, they don't really want to move, but GXR Cells, like I said before, Synergy really had to buy the times. They needed those smokes, but GXR Cells are just ruining them.
Rox is downed in a separate area of the compound, and actually another knock comes through over towards MJ as T1 get eliminated on this push. RRQ going very low, and I think they're going to go down any second now. You level up, falling, and Blank, it's just tumbling down. All of these teams are just getting bumped off one by one.
GXR Celts were taking a lot of fights with a lot of different people, and now return fire has come their way. They've taken a few knocks. Rox is going to try and make his way back over to the northeastern compound, leaving the compound in the middle. I believe he is crawling, perhaps. Yes, he is on the floor. Megastars go down on the southeast side.
I want your Circle 6 predictions in a minute, Blank. I want to know who you think is going to be able to take this one home as Bigatron try and take it home against Freestyle. They're going to be looking for the nades down the hill. Yet again, we saw how dangerous this can be against Team Secrets. Oof. And another one lands. Boom. Two players from Freestyle hit the deck. Malik soon to follow with the spray from... That's King of Gamers coming in as a third party to this fight. Braga does fall, does get flushed as Box Gaming steal it away. There's about 6 teams, even though there's only 5 teams alive in this fight.
You want in my predictions here, I'm going to go with BTR because they've been without a chicken dinner for so long and they're hungering for the next one. Microboy just rattling down the players from Freestyle. They are now down. The next big target here is King of Gamers, who have smokes all over the floor. They're moving through the clouds here, but BTR, they want to put an end to their flight.
They do have a pretty tricky run here. They might be played spoiler too. Soup crawling around as Luxy goes down to him. Gets the spray, but it's traded off by the nade. Another found as Microboy brings up the rear beautifully. Lovely stuff from Bigatron. The next circle just an inch away from them. Hang on a minute, they're taking the fight. Oh, they continued it. They managed to take it. Goodness me, GXR Cells, I didn't even realize they were that low, but Bigatron Red Aliens, they managed to take them down. I thought they were in the comp.